Hi everyone, I'm Deeksha from Leap Scholar, and today I've prepared a session for you on one of the tasks that students find the most difficult. So, two different types of charts. In the past, it was common to get only one type of chart in your task. However, nowadays it is super common to get two different types of charts. Now, it does sound like you'd have to do twice the analyzing, make twice the comparisons, and that means twice the difficulty level. But this is a misconception because both the charts would essentially have different data, which is why you can't compare one with the other. So, for example, can you compare the weight of a thing with its height? So, because the data is different, there are no comparisons which have to be made between the tasks, but instead, you need to make comparisons of data within both the graphs. There's one type of report structure that you can use for all these tasks. Additionally, I will show you not one, but two sample Band 9 essays. So if you find this information useful, please like this video. Here is our sample task. The charts show the share of the Australian and British cinema markets in 2001 and cinema admissions in Britain and Australia from 1980 to 2001. Write a report for a university lecturer describing the information. You should write at least 150 words. So, the first sentence of your question talks about the first chart, which shows the share of the Australian and British cinema markets in 1 year, which is 2001. So the horizontal axis tells us about the percentage of films that were screened from different origins. And the second sentence talks about the second graph, cinema admissions in Britain and Australia from different time periods. Here is our report structure, which is a classic structure which can be used for every task wherever you are given two different charts. The first paragraph and the second paragraph remain the same as in all task ones. So the first is the introduction paragraph, followed by a brief overview. And in our third and fourth paragraph, we simply discuss one chart each. So, what that means is, in our first body paragraph, we describe chart 1, wherein we give a comparison of the evolution of the cinema market in Britain and Australia. And in our second body paragraph, we give a comparison of the world cinema industry's share of the Australian and British markets, which is actually our graph number 2. Let's have a look at the introduction and what do we have to do to write an introduction. So we have simply paraphrased the question statement to to introduce what both our charts show. So the charts show the share of the Australian, we have changed share of the cinema markets to the cinema industry's share of the Australian and UK cinema market by origin in 2001. And for the second chart, we have joined both these sentences with while. Chart 2 compares, now again, for cinema admissions, we have used a synonym, we've changed it to compares the number of cinema attendees in these two countries between 1980 and 2001. So, as you can see, instead of repeating the countries again, we've referenced back to them and said these two countries between the time periods. Looking at our report structure again, next comes our overview, wherein we have to give the general trend of both the charts. So all we have to do is write two sentences talking about the general trend of each chart. To do that, we'll have to look at our charts. Let's see how to decide the general trend of the charts. I want you to pause the screen and analyze the charts for 30 seconds and try to look at what is the general trend in both charts. All right. So let's see what you have done. So all you have to do for finding out the general trend is you need to ignore the figures. So we won't be mentioning the figures in our overview. A lot of times, in fact, mostly The figures are not important in the overview. What is important is whether the data is increasing or decreasing, or what the general trend is. So let's first discuss chart B, which is easier. All right, so we have two lines, each depicting one country. The blue is depicts UK and the orange line depicts Australia. Now, if you ignore the figures and just draw a straight line from the beginning of the line of this line to its end, you will see that there is a slight increase in the cinema admissions. What does that mean? That there is a slight increase in the number of people who visited the cinema as the years increased. Similarly, for the orange line as well, which is for Australia, there is again a very clear increase in the number of cinema attendees. So this is our trend for chart B, which shows that there is a steady increase or a rise or a surge in the number of cinema attendees. Now talking about chart A, which although looks complicated but it isn't. So our horizontal axis, it talks about the percentage of films that were broadcast, and our vertical axis has different categories of films. So the first is films made in US, then you have UK based films, Australian films, and other countries. The red bar shows Australia, whereas the blue bar denotes UK. So if you notice, let's first begin with the red bar, which is for Australia. So when we talk about US films, almost 65% of films that were broadcast were American, almost 5% films were British, and around 20% were from other countries, which leaves us with a very small, negligible percentage of films that were Australian. However, if we look at UK, if we look at the blue bar, so we have almost 20% films which were from their country, from the same country, from UK, and the rest of the films, almost 80% of films were from the USA, whereas only very few percentage, so only 10% of the films were from Australia. So overall, can I say that the UK telecast films from not a lot of sources? So most of their movies were from US, were American and British. So there's not a lot of variety. Whereas if you look again at the Australian bar, only a negligible 1% of the films were Australian, whereas 99% of the films that were screened in Australia were from either from USA, from UK, or other countries, which tells us the general trend that the majority of the films broadcast in Australia were from various countries. They were not from from the same, from its, were not originating from Australia. So that is how you find out the general trend of both the graphs. Now let's see how we phrased it. So overall, the charts show that the cinema has increased in popularity in both countries. This comes from chart number B. So as we saw that there was an increase in the people who went to the cinema, we can rephrase and say that the cinema has increased in popularity in both countries over the last 15 years. And now for chart A, where we spoke about Australia showing or screening more country, films from a lot more countries. So, but that the origins of the films projected on in Australia are more diverse than in the UK, which is exactly what we saw because 99% of the films screened in Australia were from countries other than Australia. All right, so that is how you write the overview, one sentence each for each graph. Now, coming to the body paragraph. So, as I said, in the body paragraph, all you have to do is demarcate one body paragraph for a separate graph, which means that we will just be expanding this overview and including accurate figures. So, let's look at our body paragraph 1. So, a comparison of the evolution of the cinema market in Britain and Australia is what we saw in body paragraph 1. In both countries, films made in the United States predominated with 77% of the market in the UK compared to 67% in Australia. UK films accounted for 21%, so this is country number 1, country number 2 of the UK cinema market and 6% of the Australian market. On the other hand, while 11% of the films shown in Australia were Australian, no Australian films were shown in the UK. So here we have country number 3, which is Australia, and films from other countries. So our category number 4, which was marked as other countries, had 16% of the market share in Australia as opposed to just 2% in the UK. So, why is this a sample band 9 answer? Because it has a wide range of vocabulary. So, as you see, you will find that to present the data, the percentages, different verbs have been used. For example, here for presenting the data of the US films, we've used predominated, then we've used compared, UK films accounted for. So we've used different verbs to talk about the same data. Again, there's a wide variety of sentence structures, so there's no repetition of sentence structures. Instead of simply presenting data, such as in the following manner, wherein we state the US films accounted for this much percentage, and then UK films accounted for this much percentage, and Australian films accounted for this much. So there is no repetition of sentence structures. We've used three different structures for presenting the data of three different countries. All right. Let's look at body paragraph 2, where we talk about our chart number 2, which is the chart which shows about an increase in the in the number of attendees of the cinema. So, chart B shows cinema admissions in the UK and Australia since 1976. In both countries, cinema admissions dropped in the early 1980s, so there was a slight drop in the 1980s. While in the UK, the decrease was far more dramatic. Since then, however, the industry has recovered in both countries. In 2001, cinema admissions in the UK stood at over 150 million, whereas in Australia they reached 90 million. So, as you can see, there is a comparison of data within the graph. So, we are definitely comparing the data of Australia and UK, and we are using different structures to do that. So this was our report structure that we used. This is another report structure. So you can choose to put the overview paragraph in the last paragraph as well. This choice depends entirely on you. Both these structures can be used for your essays. Let's try to use the second structure for looking at our sample task 2. So here is the report, and moving to sample task 2. Here we have our task. The bar chart below shows US seafood imports for 1986, 96, and 2016, and the forecast for 2026. The pie chart shows the geographical structure of these imports in 2016. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. So here we have two charts, and again we have your question gives you two sentences for the two charts. So let's pick these two sentences and paraphrase them to write our introduction. Pause the video and paraphrase these sentences to write your introduction, and then we'll look at the sample introduction. All right. So let's look at our report structure. Again, we are following the same report structure. So our first paragraph is the introduction, followed by the overview, and then we designate one paragraph each to each chart. So let's begin with the introduction. The bar chart below, so we've obviously removed below because there will be no chart below your report. Shores, we've changed shores to provide information on the volume of seafood imports in the United States between the years 1986 and 2016, with a prediction for 2026, and illustrate from which countries the seafood was imported in 2016. So, whenever you have a year in the future, that means, so here instead of forecast, it means that there is a prediction of data. So, here we've used with a prediction for 2026. Also, please notice how we haven't uh, used a synonym for seafood imports. So there might be a scenario wherein you are unable to look for for a synonym because there's no accurate synonym which is possible for that word. And in that case, we must not forcefully use a synonym. We can, in that place, use the same word, and that repetition is absolutely fine. However, we have definitely used different phrases for talking about the time period. So I have rephrased the time period and written between the years 1986 and 2016 with a prediction for the year 2026. Again, instead of the geographical structure of these imports, what it basically means is where are these imports coming from? And I've written from which countries the seafood was imported in 2016. Now, coming to the most important part of our question, where we talk about the overview, wherein we talk about the general trend of both the graphs. So, to give the general trend of both the charts, we would need two sentences. Let's first analyze the charts and find the overview. So, looking at the first chart, can you notice again if you ignore the figures and just draw a line, since we are given the an increase in the numbers on the horizontal axis, just draw a line and you would get an your overview. So here it is. As you can see, there was a steady rise in the import of seafood in US in the years. However, there was a prediction of a decline in 2026. So remember, this is not the accurate figure. They have extrapolated on the data, and this is a prediction. So this is what our overview for chart 1 is going to look like. Now, how do you write the overview for the pie chart? So for the pie chart, let's look at the pie chart. US seafood imports in 2016. So it talks about 1 year and by country of origin. So which countries did were those were the seafood imported from? So as you can see, there are three big portions in this pie chart, and the rest of the portions contribute very less. So, can we divide the pie chart this way and say that there were three major contributors, which were China, Thailand, and Canada? And how much were they contributing? So, if you add up the data, 28 plus 23 plus 16, you will see that it is more than two-thirds of the contribution of the entire contribution. So there you have your overview for the second chart, which is that the top three countries contributed almost two-thirds of the seafood imports to US. Now all we have to do is join both these sentences, and that is what we have done here. So overall, seafood imports tripled over that 20-year period, with the top three countries, so these top three countries, controlling more than two-thirds of the market in the United States. So this is the overview of your pie chart, wherein you can see the top three countries are controlling more than two-thirds of the market. Now, why aren't we mentioning the names of the countries? Is because we will simply be expanding this overview in our body paragraph. And if you include the names as well, your overview will become very long and there will be a repetition in your body paragraph. So, to avoid that, we are not mentioning the names of the three countries. Overall, looking at the first sentence, so overall seafood imports tripled over that 20-year period. That is exactly what we saw. So it started from a meager 5% and went to 20, which is almost uh, triple of the first value. And in the future, however, import levels are forecast to shrink. So here, as we can see, the import levels are forecast to shrink. So we have included the general trend of both the charts in our overview. Now, simply in our body paragraph of chart 1, I have to expand the overview and give the proper percentages as well. So the US seafood imports increased from $6 billion in 1986 to $10 billion in 1996. Then, over the following 10 years, that amount doubled and crossed 20 billion mark in 2016. Despite the past growth, now we talk about the prediction. It is predicted that the trend will change. So, this is an exception to the trend wherein there is a decrease that will be followed. And in 2026, the United States will receive approximately $2 billion fewer seafood products from abroad than it did in 2016. Again, if we go back to the graph, you will see that we have presented the percentage, sorry, the imports in billion for all the 4 years for 1986, 96, 2016, and 2026. That means the same data presented for 4 years, and we have used four different structures for presenting that data. So we have said in our first structure, the seafood imports increased from $6 billion in 1986 to 1996. Then, for the second structure, we've said over the following 10 years, that amount doubled. And for the third structure, we've said despite the past growth, it is predicted that the trend will change. And in 2026, US received $2 billion fewer seafood products from abroad. So, this is why this sample is a very good sample for a band 9 answer because it shows a wide range of vocabulary and a wide variety of sentence structures. Moving forward to our body paragraph 2, where we will expand on our overview of the chart 2, which was the pie chart. In regard to the geographical split of imports, the three countries, so now we are expanding on which three countries they are and how much are they contributing. Additionally, we will also talk about the minority that of contribution that is being done by the other countries. So the three countries that dominated the market in 2016 were China, Thailand, and Canada, which respectively imported 28%, 23%, and 16% of the seafood. The imports from other countries, including Indonesia, Vietnam, and Ecuador, constituted one third of the total annual seafood imports. So here we've reported the most important figures. We haven't included the percentages that were contributed from the other countries because these percentages are not important. So there you have your sample report for your charts when you have two different types of charts. If you like the video, please put a like and leave a comment. And additionally, you can tell me what part of the writing module do you want me to cover next. So you can leave your comments in the comment section below, and I will definitely be covering that module next.